NewsPrint to Heartprint, an ingenious Odyssey of Harivansh in Prabhat, Khabar. I would like to welcome the authors, Mr. Abhijit K. Chattoraj and Ms. Saloni Sinha. There's also Mr. Srinath Sridharan, but he couldn't be here with us today. For those who don't know, Prabhat Khabar is a Hindi language daily newspaper published in Jharkhand, Bihar and West Bengal, with circulation in some other states in India, including parts of Orissa. NewsPrint to Heartprint follows the transformation of this paper under the leadership of Sri Harivansh, who's a Gandhian thinker, a deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The book explores his leadership philosophy and covers key leadership principles that helped him take the newspaper from one that was obscure to one that has among the largest circulations in the country. Dr. Saloni Sinha is a professor at BIMTech. She specializes in business communication and theater with over 20 years of experience. And Dr. Abhijit Chattoraj is a renowned insurance academician and a professor, recently dean at BIMTech. He's also a renowned chartered insurer. Welcome both.
So I found the idea of this book very, very intriguing, because what you normally hear is that print media is dying, newspapers are not selling. You know, you hear only tragic tales, right? But here's a story that both of you have written in this book, which seems to be going completely contrary to what we think is happening, right? A newspaper that's actually grown, that's actually succeeded. To what would you attribute this unusual occurrence?
Mr. Harivansh joined the newspaper in '89. And those who come from that part of the world, Ranchi, Jamshedpur, Ranchi precisely, summer capital once upon a time of Bihar, beautiful city was almost dying, pitiable conditions, and the roads were bad, everything was bad other than the salubrious climate. The time was also bad in the sense most of the prominent newspapers, if you remember India Post and the Observers and the Mail, every newspapers, even Aryabhat coming out from Patna, Jugantor and the other newspapers from Bengal, almost all newspapers were dying. And he joined the newspaper, he came all the way from Ravivar in Calcutta, and joined the newspaper. There was a lot of dilemma. The opening line says whether he should take up this assignment of being the editor of a newspaper. The circulation was merely 400 copies, and that also were distributed among friends. And from there, he took up the challenge and literally steered the fortune of this newspaper, which went on to become one of the most powerful newspapers of that area. If the forest scam is one thing which Prabhat Khabar brought it to the fore, not many people out here knows it. It was the newspaper, and Mr. Harivansh was the one editor who was unafraid, was not afraid, unfazed by the kind of pressure you can imagine. Those days, Lalu Prasad ji was all powerful. You remember those days when Advani ji was stopped in Masanjor. During that period, reporting about forest scam and all scam, Jharkhand is mother of all corruption, I always said. I come from Ranchi. And and in that scenario, this gentleman came, Prabhat Khabar has no printer, almost tottering, gasping for breath. And the newspaper went on to become India's leading newspaper. Paid reporting was another area where Mark Tully also mentions that in his book also. Plenty of things that he initiated as an entrepreneur, although the Javers were the owners, but there was a point when Javers told that either swim or sink, that's the choice. They said, we cannot possibly give you enough money. There are plenty of reasons, if you look at this story of Prabhat Khabar, 40 years they recently celebrated. The kind of marketing, as a marketing professor, I believe Harivansh never was an MBA from any prestigious university. He comes from a village, and the village was in between a Diara, if you understand the word Diara in Hindi, both side rivers, and life was very, very difficult. From that background, and then he steers the fortune of a newspaper to great height. And with sheer good content, he created Prabhat Khabar what it is today.
Dr. Sinha, was there any specific moment or turning point in Sri Harivansh's journey, personal or professional, that really stood out to you?
Okay, if I would like to, share a little about how we came up with the title, that's actually the reason. When, newspapers were being read, there were times when nobody would trust that. And eventually when we started, talking about this project, we felt that as an individual, if you have taken up some initiative to cleanse, a system, if you cannot touch the heart of people, it will not work and it will not sustain. So we chose NewsPrint to Heartprint and not Footprint, right? Yes. So that's actually the reason that we thought that this is a valuable input for the current generation, and it also includes the media, where we all know what is the need of the hour, the call, right? So I would also share that while we were working on this book, we involved a couple of students who helped us in archiving, and they would meet Harivansh ji, and when we used to have these conversations, I noticed that they were getting very influenced and they were getting to understand ethics, they were getting to understand marketing, because of the advertisements, how that came up as a social campaign. So these were the reasons that we thought that this could come out now. And also, particularly, this book has a section in the end, which is the educator's note. So that we thought we should include, because we want this book to be read by business students and takes lessons from marketing, communication, leadership, shepherd leadership, and communication strategies, and particularly entrepreneurship. So we have included this, and the latest leadership that we are looking for is whole brain leadership, whole brain thinking, and that's what we have included, which totally aligns with the current education policy, and the new generation also has to think that way. So these were the reasons where we saw a very personal journey of each one of us who was involved in it, and his own as an example. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you, for gracing us with your presence, and big congratulations again on the wonderful book. I now invite Mr. Ravi Wazir, author of Beyond the Menu, to please present a memento to both the authors.